Om Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. I shall take refuge at our great master, the Lord Buddha, and I will take refuge at the Dharma and also at the Sangha. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, as we all know, previous week we had an interesting topic in connection with Buddha Jayanti. We discussed how Siddhartha got awakened by the three incidents and he turned into Buddha. Well, now there are a lot of incidents, it keeps on happening in and around us and in our own lives. We might have seen enough old people, deceased people, and people dying, either young or old alive. But still, when we see such bitter truths, we do get shocked, we do get bit moved, or it makes us to rethink about our life, about our achievements, and not whatnot. But again, it is very temporary in nature. That makes us again bound and enjoy and suffer, enjoy and suffer. So we'll be tossed between the dualities of the world. Now, these great people, the spiritual masters, they're so ready for this spiritual ignition. A small event, a small teaching, or a small happening is enough for them to get awakened and to reach their goal or to reach their targets. Just like if it is a wet wood, it needs a good amount of fuel probably to ignite the wood, and also it takes difficult to burn it. Now, some portion of humidity is there in the wood, otherwise its most part is dry. If so, then it is much easier to bury it or to burn it. If it is a dry wood completely, then just little fire is enough to get ignited and it gets easily burned. So similarly, all these great spiritual illuminaries are just like a complete dry wood. There is no moisture at all. As a result, they can burn the ignorance, they can burn the worldliness in no time, and they can ignite themselves to give the knowledge, to give the wisdom to the entire humankind. Now, Buddha, Lord Buddha, is one among them. And his teachings are Four Noble Truths we have discussed. And we were discussing about the Pratitya Samutpada, that is the cycle of dependent origination, which is one of the important teaching of the Buddhism and the Lord Buddha. And the 12 spokes of the wheel, Dharma, Chakra, is we have seen already. The first is ignorance, avidya. Second is formation, that is samskara. Third is consciousness or vijnana. The fourth is name and form, nama and rupa. Fifth is six senses, shadaitanana. Then the sixth is contact, sparsha. Seventh is feeling or vedana. Eighth is craving or trishna or tanha. Then ninth is clinging, that is upadana. 10th is becoming, bhava. Then 11th is birth or jati. 12th is aging and death. Now, whoever sees the dependent origination, they see the dharma. And whoever sees the dharma, they see the Buddha. That's what the Buddhist scriptures says about the importance and the uniqueness and the greatness of the Pratitya Samutpada, that is theory of dependent origination. In this respect, we already discussed about what is avidya or ignorance or nuisance, and what is samskara, that is impressions, and how there are different types of samskaras, formative and formative action samskara. We discussed, and actions and vijnana, that is consciousness, And consciousness, we should not confuse with the Vedantic consciousness. Here, the consciousness is something different, which is causal consciousness, effect consciousness, all these things we saw. And the fourth, Nama and Rupa, we were supposed to discuss. Now, because of the nescience or ignorance, the formations have been formed. And because of that formations, the consciousness or the mind or that awareness or causal things has been formed. Now, once this consciousness is formed, then the fourth step or the fourth component in the 12 cycled dependent origination is Nama and Rupa, name and form. Again, it is a word of caution is we should not confuse this Nama and Rupa with the Advaita Vedantic concept. In the non-dualistic school of philosophy, Nama and Rupa is name and form. That is the manifestation, the first step of the manifestation. Here, it is not that Nama and Rupa. Comparatively, like if it is a non-Buddhistic schools, whatever they term, whatever they use, body and name, the name and body are the body and soul. Roughly, it can correspond. This Nama and Rupa, or the name and form, can roughly correspond into body and soul. Now, there is a technical explanation for this Nama and Rupa based on the commentators, the Buddhist philosophers' commentators. The Nama and Rupa can be understood in a simplified way like this. Now, first union with an embryo in the mother's womb up to the growth of the full formation of the body, child's body, is what actually form. For example, the semen when come into contact with the embryo, the semen when it comes into contact with the embryo and slowly takes some form actually. We all know that, 2 cells, then 4 cells, 8, 16, 32, 64, it becomes like meiosis, we say in science. The formation of meiosis happens and slowly it takes a shape actually. It is just like a lump of the muscle, you can say, a lump of the flesh, you can say. So that is what called form according to the Buddhism. So we have to be very clearly understanding. Then afterwards, that the lump of flesh, slowly, it takes a form of a child. Then slowly, sense organs are developed, eyes are developed, ears are developed, hands are developed, tongue is developed, sense of taste is developed, sense of touch is developed. So this sense organs and their consciousness and their awareness is developed. That is called actually name according to the Buddhism. So here name and form is what? The form means what? When the semen come into contact with the embryo in the mother's womb or in the lady's womb, and which takes the particular flesh, that is called form. And when slowly it grows into form of a child, or when the sense organs are developed, that is called name. And once this flesh has been grown into the full form of a baby and the sense organs are developed, that is called name. 6 sense organs. Sense organs is the 5th component, which is called Shadaitanana. Shadaitanana means it is a Sanskrit word. It is in Pali also similar. So that is a 6 sense organs. So this is the 5th component. But one of the interesting point, if you note all these things 12, just how a baby is born, or how a child, how a being comes into existence, how it is grown in the mother's womb, then after coming, whatever the different stages of the life a being experiences, including human being, experiences and it ends. The whole life cycle of a being, the whole life cycle of the existence has been beautifully explained here. Now, Shadaitana is what? 6 sense organs. It's a 5th component. Now, during the formation of a child, in the mother's womb especially, the sense organs develops gradually in stages. Now, when the embryo at the third month and fourth month, fifth month, sixth month, seventh month, you see there's a gradual development of the body and in the internal organs and the external organs, isn't it? So this gradual development and up to the capability of experiencing the objects in the mother's womb as attractive or unattractive or neutral or whatnot. All these things, that whole process, the development process, is been categorized or classified under the Shadaitana. And interestingly, and how these philosophers were so meticulous, and how these so philosophers or the monks or the mendicants, they were so, I mean, very concentrated in their observances also. Very interesting to note here. The Buddhist philosophers recognize us four type of births actually, which probably we might also have observed, some of us. What is that? The first type of birth is the beings, I mean, either bird or animal or insect or a human being, anyone, any being basically, any living being, which has been born, which takes birth from the womb. More or less, I mean, we can say that like mammals. And the second type of birth is from the egg, like most of the, like, we can say birds and reptiles and all. Then the third type of, interesting how meticulously they have observed the Buddhist philosophers. The third type of birth they recognize is the insects or some worms, or bacteria maybe even, so which are born due to warmth and the moisture. For example, even if you see the mosquitoes and all, the mosquitoes' eggs are being breeded in the water, and if it is a moisture and water is there too much stagnancy, easily the mosquitoes can grow. We all know that. And the fourth is miraculous birth, it seems, like angels, suprasensual beings or extraterrestrial beings who are miraculously born. Means there is no contact with the male and female, and there is no gradual development of the embryo or of the sense organs and all. Instead of that, it is just a miraculous birth, mysterious birth. They don't undergo all these developments like demigods or angels, we can say. So the four types of birth has been recognized by Buddhism. So, and also here, if you see, many people argue that, oh, Buddha didn't accept the God. Buddhism doesn't accept the God. But in a future, I mean, whether he accepted or not, the disciples of Buddha made Buddha himself as a God. Now, in the Buddhist philosophies, they discuss us and they accept the angels, demigods, different type of gods who are miraculously born, which is a very interesting point actually. And Buddhism also argues that the first three types of births, from the womb, from the egg, and from the heat and moisture, for example, all of them, the species which are born from any of these nature, there is a gradual development from the embryo point or from the seed point or from the sperm, and slowly, slowly there will be a gradual development. But whereas in the fourth type, that is miraculous birth, there is no gradual development. It is all of a sudden, just there will be an appearance, there will be manifestation. So there is no gradual development at all. So when the six sense organs are developed and their physical properties can be perceived, the instruments where they can perceive the sense objects, then that is called Shadaitana. Means I can say that well-matured, grown baby in the mother's womb, which is about to deliver, which is about to come out from the world, which is about to come out and see the world, either in animals or any type of beings, any species, which are ready to come out and see the world. So that state of the development of a being or a species, what called Shadaitana, we can say. So once a species or a being comes out, and when it starts experiencing the universe, when it starts seeing the world, what happens? The senses come into contact with sense objects. That's all we know. For example, a baby every day keep on seeing the mother and father, and it slowly starts recognizing the mother and father through the sound or through the vision, through the eyes. So that contact, it is called the sixth component in the Pratitya Samutpada, that is what? Sparsha. The senses, when coming into contact with sense objects, and so the reactions and the impressions are formed. So that is what the sparsha or the contact. Now, most of us, we all know that even Buddhism also discusses three things are essential for the sense contact with the sense objects according to the Buddhism. Now, in Vedanta also more or less similar view is there, but something else also they will tell. Something else extra is there. For example, sense object, there is a need of a sense object. And the second is there is a need of a sense organ. And the third is there's a mind or a moment of consciousness. Moment of consciousness means just awareness, we can say, or that mindfulness, we can say. Now, in the sense object, it can be physical and it can be mental. So this is also a very important point. For example, I see ice cream. When I see ice cream, so my eyes are seeing the ice cream. My eyes came into contact with sense object called ice cream, and I got a desire. And I was aware of it. I'm aware of the presence of ice cream. Then I got a desire. I might get desire. I might get no neutral. I might get no. I'm not liking it because if I eat, I will get a cold. I will catch cold. And suddenly, because I've enjoyed and I've created this impression in my mind. Suddenly, in my mind, though in front of me there is no ice cream, but an ice cream, the desire of ice cream, a thought of ice cream can come in my mind, which makes me to desire for it, which makes me to think and to go to shop and fetch it or get it. So the sense objects can be physical and mental also, according to the Buddhism. Now, when the senses come into contact with sense objects, then what happens? Desires are aroused, attraction can happen, and aversion can come into picture, and there can be neutral feelings, neutral thoughts, or attractive thoughts, or aversion thoughts are aroused, which is manifested as desires. Now you see, very important point is, in a thing itself, there is no good and bad, or attraction, or aversion, or neutrality. It is all how we react. Just simple example, I gave an ice cream, example of ice cream. Say, for example, 5 of us, we are going and we see ice cream. Two may say that, oh, I would like to take ice cream and I love ice cream. I would like to take ice cream and I would like to enjoy. And two more say, well, but it has got no, because we may catch cold, and also it has got calories, and we have got enough calories already, and we had our lunch. Don't want to have extra calories, so better not. They don't want at all. And two people they want, and the one is neutral. If the ice cream is there, also okay. If ice cream is not there, also okay. So two people are for ice cream, two people are against for ice cream, one is neutral. Now, ice cream itself there is no problem in ice cream in itself as an object, but as our reaction, as our likings, as our disliking, or as our neutral behavior or thought or feeling or desires, based on that, all our problems come into existence. So there is no problem in the world. Many of us, we feel, oh, the world is with full of problem. Living in the world means there's a lot of problems. The world itself doesn't have problem. It is only our reactions, our attitudes towards them create problems. So this is very clearly understood beautifully by contact. When the senses come into contact with sense objects, there is no reactions at all. Only because of our desires, because of our feelings, because of our thoughts, because of our impressions, samskara, which already we have discussed, because of that, we get either good or bad, or attraction or aversion, repulsion, or neutral, or whatnot. So based on our sense organs, they also discusses 6 types of contact in the Buddhism, which is a common thing which all we know. One is tactile. Tactile is what? I mean, touch. And the second is auditory, that is hearing. The third is olfactory, that is smell. Then the fourth is visual, that is eye contact. The fifth is gustatory, that is a taste or tongue. And the sixth is mental impressions or mind. So mind and the five sense organs of knowledge. Based on that, six experiences, six contacts can be developed or can be obtained by a human being. Whereas in the animals and the birds or the insects and all, based on the species, they may have one sense organ, they may have two sense organs, they may have three or four or whatever. Based on them, they will get it. But these sense organs, because of our expression, impressions, samskaras, they will pull us, they will forcefully, they will drag us towards the sense objects. So we have to be careful, we have to be alert, we have to be mindful. Otherwise, we get into problem. Now, when I saw the ice cream, my eye went and it caught the image of the ice cream and it took and it presented in front of my mind. Look, there's a beautiful there's a delicious ice cream. The moment when my mind understood the ice cream, because of my samskaras, I started liking, oh, I would like to have an ice cream. So that is what called feeling, Vedana. So this is the seventh component in the Pratitya Samutpada. That is what? Please, feeling. The feeling can be pleasant, feeling can be unpleasant, feeling can be neutral. Based on the already explanation I gave, based on that, it can be pleasant. Like for example, now we are saying that today it is a summer. In Ireland, summer. And there's a good joke, all of us, we might know. What are you doing? I am waiting for summer. Many of the time in Ireland, we don't get sun at all, even in summer. We don't get a complete sun, and many times it can be cloudy or rainy or what, drizzling or whatever. Now, a week before, there was a good sunlight. And I said within one of the volunteer here, oh, I'm enjoying. Why? Because it's a beautiful sun and I'm able to go out and I'm able to, experience the sunlight. So beautiful, so nice. Then the volunteer said, yes, maybe, but I don't like this because it is a bit unpleasant. I feel cloudy and probably a bit cloudy and cool weather only I like it. Now, whether someone like very sunny atmosphere, someone like cloudy atmosphere. Now, pleasant and unpleasant and neutral, again, it all depends on our mind, depends on our nature. So for some of us, sunny is pleasant. For some others, sunny is unpleasant. And for some others, it is neutral. So again, these feelings, these reactions are all been created by our own desires or by our own contacts, sparsha, or by our own samskaras, that is impressions. So you have to understand very clearly. Now, the sparsha or contact is the object side of experience. And the vedana or feeling is the subject side of experience. When the sense come into contact with sense objects, there is objectivity in that. But when the senses come into contact with sense objects, the feeling, whatever it arises in our mind, that is subjective. Now, the ripening of action primarily occurs because of the feelings. Because I like something, I try to get it. And if I intensely desire for it, I want it by hook or crook if I want, then my actions all will be concentrated on that. By hook or crook, today I will get it done. Then my mind, my energy, my whole life, my actions will be concentrated. Okay, let me try. If I get fine, if I don't get fine, then I will be neutral. Oh no, I don't want to see her at all. So all my actions will be concentrated so that I should not see her at all today. This is unpleasant or aversion or whatever. So basically, the Vedana or feelings is very subjective in the nature, whereas the contact is objective in nature. So when the contact and feeling get completed, then the full experience gets completed according to the Buddhism. Why? Because mere contact of the sense with the sense objects is not problem at all. It doesn't create big impression. or it does not create any deep impressions in at all. Only because of the feelings, it makes a seat, it makes a room in our life actually. For example, you are traveling in the bus. When you are traveling in the bus, there are maybe 20, 30 co-travelers were there in the bus, public bus transport. You might have seen all of them. Now, after some time, if you try to remember, you might not remember everyone. Hardly you remember. Now, in that while traveling, some were making some nonsense, or some are so beautiful, very good in gentle in their behavior. Some are very helpful in nature. Because of some reason, their reaction, their behavior has created an impression in your mind. Because of that, your mind got, your senses or your mind got attached to that person or liking or whatever feeling. That's the reason, either bad or good. That's the reason you are, you are remembering that co-traveler for a few days, though he or she is not directly connected to you in any way. Otherwise, just like so many people came, so many people went, and you traveled in a bus, you don't register or your mind won't register. Because of the feeling only, we register. So that's the reason we have to become more and more objective instead of subjective. Because our happiness, our unhappiness are neutral. Everything depends on our feelings. There is no, good and bad and right and wrong or neutral in the object in itself. Everything depends on our mind. Everything depends on our samskaras, that is impressions. Everything depends on our desires. Everything depends mostly on our feelings. That is what sparsha. Now, from nascence, from vidya to contact sparsha, this is a one part of the dependent origination according to the Buddhist philosophers. This is the whole till here, from nascence to here, it has been categorized under causal sequence, which is based on seeding action, they say. Now, from the cause point of view, or from the cause point of view, there are the three series or threefold, they say. One is nescence, that is, avidya, then the formations and the consciousness. Anyhow, these are all technical description. From the effect viewpoint or the result, there is a fourfold series: name and form, six sense organs, contact, and feeling. This all, when you go deeply, all these things is required. Otherwise, you may not, you need not to bother to understand this. Now we will go to the eighth component of the dependent origination, that is trishna. In Pali, it is called tanha, that is craving. Many of us, we have got a craving for many things. Now, for some of us, we may have got a craving for opposite sex. Some of us might have a craving for foodie. Since I am a foodie, I may have got a craving for different type of food. Some may have a craving for name and fame. Some may have a craving for power and position. Now you might hearing the wheeling. So someone has got a craving for wheeling in summer, June, July. Oh my God. In our place, in our area, very often I keep on hearing so much loud noise, and which can create disturbance because of this wheeling. Now, youngsters have got that craving for whatever the reason. They like that and they do a lot of this wheeling. So, this craving is also has been classified into threefold according to the Buddhist philosophers. One is the desire or craving is pleasure seeking, wish to meet with the pleasurable or desirable objects. Oh, if I get a heating thing in this cold, how beautiful, pleasurable, desirable. So there are desirable things, desirable craving. Uh, that is desire craving. The second is apprehension craving. Apprehension craving is that, oh, I want to avoid him, I want to avoid that, or I want to avoid my toothache, I want to avoid cold, I want to avoid heat. For example, in India now, it is all 40 plus, 50 plus is going. People are getting boiled. So they don't want sun at all. They want rain. They want sun's temperature should go down. So they want apprehension craving. They're craving for the downfall in temperature. Now, in the cold countries, they may crave for the up in temperature. So that is what apprehension craving means. If it is not there, if he is not there, If she is not there, if it is not there, then I'm happy. If something is there, I'm happy. That is desire craving. And the apprehension craving is if something is not there, in the absence, in its absence, in his absence, in her absence, I am happy. The third is existential craving. Existential craving is attached to one's own body or the personality. Indirectly or psychologically, it can be said that it is I. So basically, all these things, this craving, how it comes, it is the result of our actions and it is the fruit of our, feelings. Because I desired something, because I felt for something, attracted towards something, that is the reason this craving appears. For example, first time when you heard about pizza, you didn't had any feelings much. Someone explained that, then an impression created in your mind regarding the pizza, then you had a craving to eat a pizza, to taste the pizza, then you started eating and you started liking and it becomes a samskara, then you want it time and again or more and more. So first time it awakens just a dormancy seeds or propensities. Then slowly, this craving initiates activities and causes and whatnot, it more and more. And when this craving gets intensified, then it is translated or it will be translated into action. That action is called upadana or appropriation. Now, if you are following my explanation till now in the previous class and now if you see every component in this Pratiti Samutpada, very psychologically, very beautifully, it has been placed. From starting with the nations and from samskaras, how gradually there's an evolution of the desire, evolution of thinking, evolution of the feeling, or evolution of the life from the biological point, from psychological point, and from philosophical point. It is very interesting and it needs a good amount of time to understand and to appreciate. So upadana means it is like appropriation, means it is an attachment. After craving, when the craving gets intensified, we develop attachment. And this attachment is developed by craving and strengthens, and it is strengthened by the following action to fulfill the desire, to fulfill the craving and whatnot. And again, Buddhist philosophers have classified this this upadana, that is appropriation or the attachment, 4 types. What is that? One is appropriation by desire. Means desire for attractive things. For example, someone like you would like to have a good clothes. So someone has got a desire for clothes, someone has got a desire for mobiles, someone has got different types of pens in olden days probably, and someone like children have got a desire for toys. They want different color of toys, different shape, different type of toys. How much ever you give toys, 10 maybe, but still they say, no, this I want, that I want. So appropriation by desire means craving for the pleasurable things more and more. Then the second is interesting is appropriation by false views. Attachment to bad views, I mean to say. Unfortunately, many of us, we have got wrong views, wrong thoughts, wrong feelings on people and on things. And we have got attachment to that wrong views, attachment to that bad views. That is also can lead to do some actions. Many times we feel, oh, if this is there, I'll be happy. But that particular desire, craving is very costly. But still, since it was very strong in me, I worked hard for maybe months, for days, or for years, and I got it. Once I got it, then in no time, I understand that, oh my dear, whatever I felt it, how much ever I felt the importance about a particular item, after getting, I'm understanding that I think that is not really so. It had so much worth. I gave unnecessary importance. I gave unnecessary value, either for a person or for a situation or for an object. Like now we are working in a place, there is some problem. And we feel that at that given point of time, it has become a really nonsense and too much stressful and whatnot. Now, because of that, we may leave job, we may get quarrel into some people, we may get into a lot of, tussles or whatever. After few days, few weeks or few months, when we ourselves think, we may understand that, or we may even really get convinced that probably I overreacted. I mean, that situation or that person's talk or that action was not of real importance. I gave undue importance and I messed my life and I put my life into a dodgy situation or a unhappy situation or a stressful situation or whatnot. Some of us, we are ready to accept when we understand some people, they are so arrogant and egoistic. Though they understand, they try to cover it and they don't want to accept it, and they will argue and they will shout at, no, it is right, I am right. Sometimes it is so intense in people. So attachment to bad views, attachment to wrong views is also a second type of appropriation. And the third is, interestingly, Buddhism says that attachment to self. Attachment to self means I am the self. I am the indestructible self. So this is what the third upadana according to Buddhism. It seems very interesting. The fourth is appropriation because of false ethics or false religious activities. Lying, cheating, immoral actions, unethical actions, all these things comes under this fourth type of category. So attachment to worthless duties or worthless religious actions and so many things has been brought under this. So all of them has to be controlled, checked, and it has to be kept under control. Otherwise, it can create a lot of nonsense and nuisance for us. Now, when this appropriation happens, this craving and appropriation, the desire is followed with action, then what happens? We have got reactions and the existence comes. And that mode of existence is what called bhava. Bhava means mode of existence. Means which now, till now, whatever was action, cravings were there, samskaras, impressions were there. Based on that, my life is going on. And because of that, my actions are done, are cultivated. My nature is formed, and because of that I am doing different type of actions, physical action, mental action, emotional action, thoughts, feelings, all these things, and they're also creating seeds. They're also creating fresh samskaras, fresh impressions. They're also creating fresh experiences. All these things is will be creating as a seed, future seed for my next life, for future births. So which is the root cause for my future births, which is called bhava or mode of existence according to the Buddhism. So now whatever I had done in my present life or in the previous life, that is the result of my present life or at right now. And now whatever I am doing at right now, that will be the cause for my future life, either in this life or in the next life. That is called bhava or mode of existence according to the Buddhist philosophers. And also, four, based on the things, the whole Pratisamutpadya has been categorized into two groups. One is called afflictors, the second is called action. After this bhava, then what happens? Okay, I have accumulated enough samskaras, enough impressions for future birth. Then what happens? Then when I die, then definitely jati. Jati means here it is not a caste. Jati means it is birth. Again, I will have a birth. Again, same thing continues, birth. And this birth again has been categorized into four categories based on the nature. That is a womb birth, then the birth from the egg, birth from the heat and moisture, birth from the magical creations. And very interestingly, Buddhist philosophers argue that angels, demigods, and ghosts, spirits, maybe devil spirits or good spirits, demons, all of them are born from the magical creation or mystical creation. They don't have a gradual evolution like us. There can be some ghosts or spirits have got gradual evolution like human beings, but most of the ghosts and spirits and the angels and they have got magical creation, magical birth is there. Because of that, many philosophy, I mean, Buddhism is also being criticized from this particular point. Now, a birth of a species, birth of a human being happens. What happens? Slowly, a child goes into adolescent, then adolescent to young, prime youth. Then slowly we'll get into middle age. Then we'll get to old age. Then some at point of time we die. And based on our samskaras, again we take birth. That's fine. So once you take a birth, you go a lot of changes. We all undergo a lot of changes. Every species undergoes change. Every living being, every animal, bird, reptile, insects, everything undergoes change. For example, caterpillar. Caterpillar is there. Caterpillar slowly from the larva, it goes to pupa to the caterpillar, and it eats, keeps on eating leaves. Then it creates a shell around that. It inside, it gets slowly. Once it breaks a silicon womb and it comes as a butterfly. And that butterfly is there for a few days and it lays eggs or whatever, then again it dies. Like that, cub is there, then slowly it grows an animal, young lion, then it becomes old, and then it dies. So this age, the growth and death is called jara and marana. Jara means age, means here it is a growth from childhood, from the birth to death. It is a different stages of growth, different stages of development of a species, and marana is what death. So age and death is what the 12th component in the Pratitha Samutpada dependent origination. Because after the existence or the birth of a being or of any species, it has to undergo a lot of changes. It grows and it stays and it decays. So, and it dies. So this is what is known as Jara Marana. Now, starting from nascence until death, if you say, that is a cycle. And once you die, based on your samskaras, again you take birth. Again you give accumulation of new experiences or samskaras to experience it. Again you take birth. So this keeps on going it. Then whoever understands this, so whoever through meditation, through spiritual practices, whoever purifies his mind, whoever controls his or her mind, one who empties his mind with all the cravings, with the desires and etc., then what happens? When his cravings are removed, then his samskaras will be removed. If samskaras are removed, then his actions will be, it will come into halt. Then what happens? Then there will be no more further seeds for the future birth. Then he or she will end his life. That is what called moksha or nirvana according to Buddhism. So this is basically simple language. It is called cause and effect theory. So the cause is what? The fundamental cause is what? Nuisance or agnana or avidya. Because of that, all these things happen. Now, understanding the knowledge of the Pradit Samutpada and putting into practice, that is what the Ashtanga Marga, the Buddha, whatever the Buddha has told. If you put into practice, then this cycle can be cut, this chain can be broken, then you will get nirvana. Now, Vedanta says that it is a state of bliss, but now the Buddhism doesn't say that it is a state of bliss. Rather, it says that you will get extinguished or you will get liberated. Now, what is that state of liberation that is being discussed differently or uh, based on the schools of Buddhism? So basically, the Pratitya Samutpada or dependent origination is the heart of the Buddhist teachings, we can say, or Buddha's teachings. One who understands, one who believes and understands and put into practice, then he can understand, he can attain nirvana, emancipation. May Lord Buddha bless all of us so that we shall understand, we shall put into practice, and so that we shall end this cycle of birth and death, and we shall attain the nirvana. Om Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.